Okay, so we are going to be continuing on with our chained hash table. Before I actually add the code for the constructors, I do need, since I'm using STD and a couple of other libraries, I need to include a few libraries. So I'm going to include IOStream, and I'm also going to include IOmanip, because I'm going to use a few functions to help us format the output stream of this class. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to code the constructor. So I'm going to, it's templated, so I'm going to put in my class type, and then my chained hash table, chained hash table. So that's what my constructor looks like. My destructor looks very similar. So I'm just going to copy this at this point and paste it in and put a tilde there for my destructor. Tilde means it's not the constructor. Okay, so for my constructor, I have a variable size, capacity, and htable that I need to deal with. Well, size represents how many elements are in my hash table. Well, when I first create it, the size is 0. Now, if I remember correctly, our function definition has an incoming parameter of int max. So I'm going to put int max there. This represents not the size. This is the size of the list of pointers. So basically it's my capacity. So my capacity equals max, and that's going to represent, once again, how big the initial list is, not how big the list can be with the chaining that occurs with the collisions. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to instantiate my htable, and I'm going to set that equal to a new node, just like I do when I'm creating a list. The only difference is this is now a list of pointers. So I'm going to have a star there, but I still need to have the size, which is my capacity, and then open close parentheses, semicolon. Okay, the constructor is done. We've now created a list of pointers. That means when we get our constructor, we need to deallocate that list. So we're going to say delete htable, and that is it. Okay, there's a couple other methods I want to do because they're fairly small. I want to do size because that's just a getter method to help us get how many elements are in our list. So I'm going to create my template, and this one is int. Do have to have my chained hash table in, size is the name of this method. And all that is doing is returning the size, the number of elements that are in my hash table. I also have another method up here for if it's empty, that's returning a Boolean value if my hash table is empty or not. So I want to code that one. That one still needs a little template function, and it still needs the scope resolution operator to let us know what class it's in. But this is another super easy one because all I have to do if it's empty, it's based upon the size of the list. So I'm going to say return size equals 0. If the size is 0, that will return true that our hash is empty. If the size is not 0, it will return false that our hash table is indeed has values in it. All right, we have now coded some of the easier methods, and we've coded both of the constructors. Catch us in the next video when we do our add method.